morning, Dennis.
Good evening, Mashi. I don't have a coffee. I suppose, according to the logo, I should have a beer, but I don't think I've ever.
You should have a beer. I have a coffee because it's my morning.
That makes sense. It's
Dennis,
your morning and your day.
Today. Yeah. I mean, I literally made this French press while we were talking.
That's
pre-show. So I have a quote. I want to dedicate this to your lovely wife.
Uh-oh. All right.
Maybe she'd know it. Maybe she wouldn't. Improve a mechanical device and you may double productivity, but improve man, you gain 1,000-fold. Do you have any idea who said that?
No.
Khan Noonien Singh.
Nikki might know that.
Khan!
Yeah.
Nikki I love this quote. And it's actually not from the movie either, by the way, because, Khan did appear in the original series. I think about this a lot. And I think there's a huge propensity among us as people to build systems, to look outside ourselves, to make things more convenient, to use apps, to use technology, to use everything we've created historically, as a civilization, as a race. We've taken things out of our brain and put them in the physical world, and we use them all the time. And it's true. We've doubled and tripled productivity, but improve the man, you can gain 1,000-fold. Literally, this came up yesterday. I do this exercise. I called lat 1.5 lat raises. So you go up and then you come down a little bit and then you go up again.
Yep.
And it burns like crazy. It's like 15 pounds. Okay.
Your body is not really meant to raise things laterally like that. Like, it's a really difficult muscle to use.
Well, the thing is, when you come all the way down and then all the way up, that's not a lot of work. But this area, this range right here, that's where all the work is. That's why you do 1.5, right? I hate this lift. And I read once, maybe it was in a YouTube video, I shouldn't say I read it, that it's the lifts or the workouts, whatever exercise it is, you hate the most that give you the most benefit. They do the most work for you. And I don't know if that's true physically, but I'll tell you what, it is 100% true mentally.
Disciplinarily, right? Yeah.
Right. And every time I think that, I think of this quote. Improve the mechanical device, you may double productivity. Improve the lift. Sure, you're gonna get some more productivity out of it, right? Maybe you build more muscle, you build more flexibility, but you tackle those things you hate, those exercises you hate, those tasks you hate, and you embrace them and you fight through them. You improve 1,000-fold.
It's a little bit like a productivity focused version of give a man a fish, teach him to fish type thing in a weird way. So when you originally said that, I interpreted it as, because we live in an age of automation, right? We live in an age where we are really peaking the results of the Industrial Revolution, where everything is being automated, everything's being automated. Like, there's whole departments in companies now whose job it is to make other parts of the company redundant. And I don't mean in like a corporate sense, I mean in a literal, actual, empirical redundant sense. And there's plenty of jobs that used to be manual that are no longer. And that was what I thought you meant. Like, people are focused on removing work from externally rather than improving the work they do inside of themselves. And something I talk about a lot, because you and I both work in marketing. Marketing has a human element, and I think it's a very important human element, but conventional wisdom and the way things are going wants to hand over as much of that strategy and interaction and knowledge to algorithms and to machine learning and to massive amounts of data. And I think it's easy to forget that at the end of the day, there's always another human being on the other end who sees an ad that you made, or that you taught a natural language generation algorithm to make, or whatever. So I think that artistry and that little bit of creativity is a little bit of a spark that's still really important. And that's something that you can work on internally without worrying about the automation, the improving a machine.
My take on this quote is that we have all this focus on AI, on building things outside of us, on technology, because we don't want to turn inside. Making those improvements inside is so much harder. Tackling, slaying the dragons internally, getting to the gym on a regular basis, eating better, meditating, really self-reflecting. These are all things we know. I mean, indisputably better for you. You will be in better physical and mental space if you do these things, but we don't do that, right? We don't tackle those dragons internally. We don't conquer the quests inside of us. We're too busy looking outside of us. And then we do things like develop technology so we don't have to do those things, right? Why, the technology has put me in a position as I sit here on Zoom in California, talking to you in Dublin, Ireland, where I don't need to leave my apartment. This loft this is it. I can get food delivered. I can get groceries delivered. I have a restroom. I have a shower. I can communicate with the outside world through Zoom. I can do all those things. Massively unhealthy. Massively unhealthy. And my theory here.
Convenient.
Convenient, yes.
Extremely convenient.
Again, we've improved all these mechanical devices to try to quote unquote double productivity. When we turn away from improving ourselves internally, we cap our abilities. We blunt our ability to grow. But when we the upside is when we turn towards those dragons to conquer those quests internally, to improve the man or person. I'm saying man because that's what Khan says, right?
You can blame Khan for that one. That's all right.
Right. When we turn to improve the person, that thousandfold gain is there, right? Our Zoom meetings are more productive. Even if we are stuck at home, not leaving, we can be so much more productive. It's more than any Zoom meeting or any technological advance.
Something I've talked about and with people in my life before is that we have all these tools in our lives that exist to save time. Faster cars, computers that do things for us that used to take a lot of time, meal prep stuff, meal replacement things if you want to get like a Huel supplement, all that kind of stuff. The real killer is, what are you doing with the time you're saving? You are saving all of this time. What are you doing with the rest of that time? Because there's this common thing of like, I don't have time to is the first excuse for any self-improvement thing you want to do. Be it getting to the gym, be it reading more, be it finally finishing that book you were trying to write, or learning a new language, or trying to have a better relationship with your family, whatever. If only I had the time. And then when you have the time, that's where this sort of predatory market of we talked about, like attention span destroying things like that, and that's why it's so tricky. Infinite scrolling and TikTok and Instagram Reels and what have you. If you're saving time by eating different, worse food, that's okay. What are you doing with that time?
Yeah. And all we do, and we're both in marketing, is fight to steal that time back from you.
Oh yeah. Those are valuable eyeballs.
I mean, that's the whole game. I mean, sometimes you get two bozos to put together a 15-minute podcast just to steal those precious minutes away from you.
That's true. Like sand between your fingers. This is different. This one doesn't count. Don't worry about
that. Please. Yeah. I mean, have this on while you're washing dishes. Just, double cue it. Yeah. Right.
I do think that's so. You talk about double queuing, which is something that I'm not sure I'm not sure what the origin of that term is. I know I always talk about Magic the Gathering online, but I'm sure there's some other origin. Anyway, it just means doing two things.
Well, Dennis, you and I go anywhere, Disneyland. You get in line for Pirates. I'll get in line for the Haunted House. We're double queuing. Let me know who gets there first. Or those lines separate, so you just do that, huh?
I said that's a race. But no, what I think there's a danger to double queuing, and we talked about this a little bit before about having it is the death of like mindfulness and presence is listening to podcasts while you do something else. It's listening to music while you do something else. Doing something and doing it purposefully and experiencing the moment of it, the tactility, the sensations, good and bad of everything, is very, very helpful and very, very grounding. Otherwise, you do end up with too many high frequency mustardy thoughts, and you kind of just glide through life on that.
I completely agree. Whether you're walking the dogs, I like washing the dishes in silence. I used to wash dishes. That was an old job I had, and there's something very cathartic about it, from dirty to clean and stuff like that. So, but taking those moments, whether you're walking the dogs, I have the tree I stare at. I like to do that in silence. So all those things are huge because there's so much noise that we subject ourselves visually and auditory all around us all the time. We try to keep ourselves distracted, because we think again, we're losing time. The other part of the Khan quote that I think is really important is they're not mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
You can improve the mechanical device and get that bonus. But when you improve the person, that person still has access to the mechanical improvements.
That's the thing.
They compound each other. It's
a bottlenecking problem, right? Where as much as you can try and automate something external, have it so that your lights come on and your coffee machine switches on with your Alexa in the morning, or whatever. And I'm taking like a very literal improve process. There's a bunch of it, like there's much that, everything you do, everything you experience is seen through your eyes and interpreted by your brain. Literally everything you experience. So from like a sheer bottleneck improvement perspective, improving things at the end of that funnel up here, and I mean, and your body as well. You know, you are piloting this meat spaceship through the universe. Anything you can do to that, because that is how you experience the world. You know, you're worried about colonizing a star when your spaceship might be falling apart.
Yeah, and it's really interesting though, because you described it as all ending here, and I thought you were building it all starter.
That's two sides of the same coin.
No, it really it is, but it's just odd because that's where I thought you were going with it, and all of a sudden you're like, whoop, it all ends here, and I was like, it all starts here. But it's, you know, both are true. Obviously, both are true. I just think in my own life, as you know, I've taken a period of time right now in my life where I'm being more introspective. I'm focused. I'm working too much, which is a distraction, but I'm focusing far more on improving myself. And you do find these ways. We're always looking for an app for that. Or I love this idea of setting your coffee in the morning, right? Like you're doing all these things, using technology to leverage, saving time, being more efficient, right? Efficiency is such a buzzword right now. We don't take time to improve ourselves. We think improving everything around us is going to make us better. Improving everything around us is going to make us more efficient, more productive, better at life. And we're not wrong. It's going to give us a slight bit more, right? We're going to get a little bit. Maybe we lose that whole bit on TikTok. I don't know. But we can take that slight bit and improve ourselves internally and push ourselves up so much. That thousandfold is there. That's why this quote is huge to me.
So for people out there, Mashi, let's just pretend there's somebody here who is hearing this quote for the first time. What would you say is the first, and we can end on this, what would you say is the first step to trying and improving the man, as Khan would say?
5 minutes of meditation a day.
Taking time to be alone with your thoughts?
5 minutes of silence or a guided meditation. Let it all start there. And be disciplined about it. Because you make that commitment to do it every day and you live up to that, know that now you can live up to any daily commitment you have, even if it's going to the gym.
Dude, it's great. There's this app that helps you meditate that I would really recommend. It's really good. I am joking. And I'm sure there's plenty of great meditation apps.
There's a lot of good ones, actually. I actually have recommendations.
But the fact that there's an app to help you get off your phone and get out of your own head, in and of itself is an indication of the situation, right?
Well, right. Yeah. Do you have a recommendation, Dennis?
I think journaling is important, and I want to get back into it because I used to do it. It doesn't have to be every day. It can be every week. It can be every month. It can be once at the end of the year. And it's a little more retrospective than what you're talking about is more introspective. But I think they're serving the same purpose. They're trying to let you stop the stimuli around you for a moment to reflect on, you know, your performance, your interpretation, or the things that have happened to you, or your current self.
Well, and as you know, I'm getting fascinated with Stoicism right now. And one of the centerpieces is one of the most famous journals of all time, right? Marcus Aurelius, who kept a journal, and it's like one of the foundational texts for Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, by the way, a fascinating and incredible man. So we'll say that. All right.
I have how to be a Stoic downloaded out in your recommendation. I need to go read it.
Do it, or listen to it.
Whichever
is best for you.
While doing the dishes or like playing through or double queuing or whatever.
Don't do that. Don't you focus.
The least stoic thing ever. All right. On that note, good evening, Mashi.
Good morning, Dennis. Go forth and improve yourself and thousandth that productivity.